Yes. Yeah, but that was standing room only. So
It won't be
yeah.
900. No, not
Well,
today.
what I was going to say before we were called to attention
Right.
was that one of the iconic pictures is of people coming into the rotundas. They want their picture in front of that American flag as they come on in um, and fill in the space and go on tour. Um, the Capitol building used to be the biggest building in Washington, D.C. And so it was always hosting events. And you can see in this photo or in this video how you could have a really large ceremony inside in the rotunda specifically.
96-foot diameter of the rotunda, 108 windows.
Oh, for 180. Well, it's 360 degrees in a circle. So. And one of the facts we always tell the kids is if you took the Statue of Liberty off her pedestal,
please don't do that.
Please don't do that. But if you did,
you
could fit her inside the Capitol Rotunda, and she'd still have almost 30 feet to spare. So Tim Cook has just come in.
Few options when you come in. Go where you're assigned.
Yeah, please follow your tour guide.
Please follow your tour guide. Where have we heard that?
Yep.
Speaking of tours, are we touring tomorrow? We shall see. The Capitol is closed on holidays such as Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. However, we would have been open today on this day in which Martin Luther King Jr.
Right. If it wasn't Inauguration Day.
Correct.
We would have been.
In other words, we'll be open President's Holiday,
right.
The third Monday of February. We're open Memorial Day, 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Please check our website, visitthecapitol.gov, to see about operations for tomorrow. That's the sound of those rifles. It is approaching 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Ron Jackson. Emily Velo is with us. We are happy to present on behalf of CHASIC the 60th inauguration. President-elect Donald J. Trump will be sworn in by Chief Justice John Roberts shortly. When I say shortly, in about another 45 minutes. And Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh will swear in Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. Between that time, a lot to observe, including the announcement of the Supreme Court justices. We have the luncheon that we're going to feature in National Statuary Hall, the Old House Chamber, the signing room.
Mm-hmm. In the President's room.
President's rooms.
There's a lot.
There's more than that.
And we're going to be with you for it all.
Thanks. We've been 2 hours just like that.
Flew by.
2 hours. Have you ever given a tour 2 hours?
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
There's.
Have you, Ron? I think you have.
Oh, so get me started. I might do it after this broadcast. I'm feeling motivated.
We're looking out. This is this is a view that we get to see a lot.
Yes.
On the right-hand side is the Library of Congress, biggest library in the world. And then on the other side, third branch of government, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court used to be in the Capitol building all the way until 1935.
That's hard to believe. In just another, 11 years will be the 100th anniversary of the modern day Supreme Court. you're going to hear the name President William Howard Taft a lot. Case Gilbert, the architect. You're going to hear that name a lot. Speaking of President Taft, I think you mentioned this earlier about weather with President Taft in 1909. 9.8 inches.
Yeah, they had a big blizzard, and so they had to move everything indoors. Yeah. But the Supreme Court being sharing space with the Senate for so long, it seems unbelievable today, but now they have their own building.
Emily, we're having a moment here in which we're about to observe the departure. Yes. Well, right. The setup for the departure is going on at the moment. So you see Marine One.
Right. Yep. So that is. There was a question as to whether or not the weather would be good enough today for Marine One to take off, but it has been cleared, so we're happy that it's there. Oh, and it sounds like we're taking our seats in the rotunda. I heard.
It's that time, 11 o'clock. That ceremony. That piano player, I hope I'd like to know that person's name again. Acknowledgement. Beginning to see people, they were going around shaking hands, talking to people. The seriousness of the moment is.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please be seated.
Oh, this is a wonderful one. Lovely.
Mm-hmm. Nice touch.
We're going to preview some of the things we're going to see in just a few minutes. And of course, they'll come up on your screen, but we're looking forward to having a call to order by Amy Klobuchar, who, like we said, is the head of JSIC, the Joint Committee. Also, invocation by Cardinal Dolan and Franklin Graham. I'm excited to hear a little opera. An opera singer from New York named Christopher Macchio. He is going to be singing later.
Tenor, yes. It was, speaking of opera singers, it was Jesse Norman in 1985. Graced the Rotunda.
Yep, and then country music star Carrie Underwood will be singing America the Beautiful. So lots of pomp and circumstance. It's a very important event for America, but also a lot of great music.
I liked our last shot from East Front. It was showing the preparation for the departure. Again, this is just so many pieces that come together.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah, that's a ceremony. That is a formal ceremony. The vice president the president will. President Biden, Dr. Jill Biden will depart.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this later, but 50 years of service, that's something to reflect
Celebrate.
on. Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm just drawn to the Library of Congress in the background. But I've heard that the Supreme Court is going to be arriving shortly. They have such a long trek from across the street to come to the Capitol building.
Oh, they didn't walk, but it is lengthy. They didn't walk, but it is. You're right. Yeah.
Of course, we have the old Supreme Court. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. On the first floor, on the Senate side of the building, we get to go in there quite a bit.
So many rooms. It's such a wonderful building. We'll talk about visiting again a little later.
Right. Okay, here we go. So next should be the Supreme Court justices.
Emily, the painting to our left, Saratoga, New York. The painting to the right, Yorktown, Virginia.
Yes.
We'll get to those a little later on. But just for those who are wondering, who on earth was in the red coat? General John Burgoyne. Who was in the red coat on the right? General O'Hare. We will get to those paintings a little bit. We look forward to the judiciary branch making an appearance
Mhm.
inside the rotunda.
Yep.
Again, this room dates back to 1824.
That's all three branches of government here today. The legislative branch is hosting, but the executive branch, the judicial branch.
We have volunteers that work with us that are here today. So everyone contributing. And you, those of you that are watching our YouTube broadcast, thank you for your patience. Music playing, that means just give it a second or two, right? It's hard to believe just 3 weeks ago, President Carter laying in state.
Right. Very different ceremony, a very solemn affair. And thousands of people came to give their condolences. And today we're celebrating our government.
Yes.
What we're supposed to do as a democracy.
Well stated. Well stated.
The thing is, I'm watching this about how here, we're on the East Coast, we're in Washington, D.C., but people came from literally all over the country to be here today.
World.
In
Right.
some cases, the world, right? And that people from all around the world are watching this, of course, but that, Congress at its core, it's supposed to represent the people. That's in the preamble of the Constitution, we the people. And so here we have people from every corner of our country coming together to show who we are as a nation.
I wonder what the broadcast will be like 100 years from now. West Front and beyond.
Right. I mean, there are things, there are new things about this ceremony that I never thought would happen. We now have a Space Force, right? And they're part of,
Space Force, yes.
They're going to be part of the pass and review of the military later for the very first time. So, the Constitution can be amended. That's what the founders wanted. And so we change as the world changes, as our country changes.
Emily, June 6th of last year,
Mm-hmm.
I attended a ceremony. The astronauts who are flying over the moon later in
Ladies and gentlemen, former vice presidents, the Honorable Dan Quayle, accompanied by Mrs. Marilyn Quayle, and the Honorable Michael Pence. Ladies and gentlemen, the 42nd President of the United States, the Honorable William J. Clinton, accompanied by the Honorable Hillary Rodham Clinton. Ladies and gentlemen, the 43rd President of the United States, the Honorable George W. Bush, accompanied by Mrs. Laura Bush. Ladies and gentlemen, the 44th President of the United States, the Honorable Barack H. Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Justice of the United States, the Honorable John G. Roberts, Jr., and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States. Tiffany Trump, and Barron Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting Dr. Biden and Mr. Emhoff, the Republican Staff Director of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Ms. Emily Leviner, the Senate Secretary for the Minority, the Honorable Gary Myrick, the House of Representatives Chief Administrative Officer, the Honorable Catherine Spindor, and Mr. Bruce Fisher. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jill Biden and Mr. Douglas Emhoff.